Hello and welcome to Holistic Hounds YouTube channel. My name is Morgan Fitzgerald and I'm a holistic dog groomer and animal Reiki practitioner, originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and currently located in Central Oregon. Today we're going to be talking about paw sensitivity and nail trim trauma in dogs. Paw sensitivity is common among all breeds of dogs and is one of the most common issues we see with dogs in holistic dog grooming. Paw sensitivity is believed to be caused by the dog's natural or instinctive desire to protect its crucial body parts from harm. It makes perfect sense then why some dogs might be averted to having their paws handled. It's an unnatural sensation and can trigger a primal sense of fear or danger. Paw pads deliver sensory information to the dog about its environment. The nerve endings in the paw pads are sensitive to temperature and vibration, which is for survival reasons. So therefore, when a dog's paws are lifted up, it can trigger them to feel ungrounded or imbalanced. Digging, hunting, self-defense, and walking are also all dependent upon the health of the dog's paws. Every dog has a different threshold of sensitivity, so it will vary from dog to dog. Some dogs even display an extreme reaction to having their paws handled, such as aggression or fear, and this could be lunging, growling, snapping, etc. Allergies or skin conditions can also increase the sensitivity of a dog's paws. Another reason for paw sensitivity can be pain. Untrimmed or overgrown nails can lead to pain as well. Infrequency of nail trims or paw handling can also be a cause for paw sensitivity. For a dog that never has their paws handled until it's time for a nail trim, it's even more likely for them to be averted to having their paws touched, handled, or lifted. And for those of you who are knowledgeable about chakras, the dog's paw pads are also their root chakras. And so for those of you who aren't well versed with the chakras, the root chakra is responsible for helping the dog to feel grounded and safe. So when their paws are lifted up, it can lead them to feeling unsafe and imbalanced, like I said before. And so this is just something to consider when doing nail trims for dogs. So they're not trying to be difficult. It's a primal sense for them to have a reaction when their paws are lifted or handled. So this is a way that dogs express their sensitivity in their paws. So now that we've talked a little bit about paw sensitivity, we're going to move on to trauma and PTSD in dogs. So a lot of us have probably heard of PTSD in humans, but it is something that dogs commonly experience as well. Post-traumatic stress disorder is an extreme anxiety disorder that results from something traumatic. PTSD is very common among people, but is less recognized in dogs. Some PTSD symptoms in dogs include panic, panting, fearfulness, being timid, clinging to owners, aggressive reactions in otherwise friendly dogs, depression, hypervigilance, shutting down, and learned helplessness. So according to akc.org, between 5 and 17% of dogs have PTSD, but it's likely much higher than that. So because PTSD has only been recognized with dogs within the last 10 years, that it's likely that a lot of dogs are misdiagnosed or aren't diagnosed with PTSD when they do have it. So PTSD in dogs is underdiagnosed and largely unrecognized, but there are some dogs that are diagnosed with PTSD. So what is the treatment plan for the dogs who are diagnosed with PTSD? The treatment plan for PTSD in dogs is usually a behavioral program utilizing systematic desensitization or exposure therapy, gradual exposure therapy. But it's usually a combination of behavior work and diet changes and supplements. And in extreme cases, sometimes medication will be prescribed. I did want to mention here that medication alone will not heal trauma. So medication must be in conjunction with a behavioral program. So what is nail trim trauma? Nail trim trauma, or NTT for short, is a trauma resulting from a nail trim. Nail trim trauma can lead to fear or an extreme PTSD response when put back in a similar situation, and this would be known as a trigger. So, for example, a dog that has had a very negative experience with a nail trim, maybe in the grooming salon, their nails were cut too short, and it was extremely painful, and it led to them bleeding. Now, the next time that this dog is taken to the same grooming salon, the dog might go into a PTSD response before the nail clippers even come out or before the nail trim even happens. And again, that would be another example of a PTSD trigger. So it's very important for pet professionals and pet guardians to be mindful of the fact that dogs can develop trauma from having a nail trim. But how does a dog get a nail trim trauma? It can happen in a variety of different places. It can happen at the vet's office, it can happen at the grooming salon, or it can happen at home. But what contributes to a dog having a trauma from a nail trim? And this is usually due to heavy restraint or fear during a nail trim, extreme stress, or pain, or cutting the nails too short. So we want to remind ourselves that the dog does remember the experience, and they remember whether it was positive, negative, or neutral. So here at Holistic Hounds, we strive for a positive or neutral nail trim. So once again, it's important to remember that sometimes dogs can have a PTSD response when put back in a similar situation. So it's important to practice positive reinforcement training techniques for the process of nail trims to get our dogs feeling more comfortable with the process. And if your dog does have a negative experience with nail trims, then you want to be mindful that they might struggle with nail trims in the future. Now, stay tuned for the next segment in this series because we will talk more about what you can do at home to achieve a holistic nail trim at home using positive reinforcement training techniques. So, thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, always strive for either a positive or neutral nail trim with your dog. Thank you so much. Please visit my website to learn more about what we offer at www.holistichounds.dog, and that's holistic with a W. Have a great day.